Few figures in history have captured the imagination like Joan of Arc, a young girl who, guided by her visions, led France to victory and met a tragic end. Her life is a testament to faith, courage, and sacrifice in a time of chaos and war. Joan of Arc was born in 1412 in Domremy, a small village in northeastern France. France was in turmoil, ravaged by the Hundred Years' War with England. At this time, France was divided, with the English controlling large parts of the country, including Paris. As the war dragged on, the French people were demoralized. The heir to the French throne, Charles VII, had been pushed into exile and had not yet been crowned. It seemed like France was on the brink of collapse. But in the midst of this despair, a 13-year-old peasant girl named Joan began to experience visions. She claimed that the saints, Saint Michael, Saint Catherine, and Saint Margaret, spoke to her, telling her that it was her divine mission to save France. I'm but a humble girl, but the voices of the saints tell me to raise an army and see that Charles is crowned king. They tell me I am to drive the English from our land. At first, few believed her, but Joan's determination and faith were undeniable. She convinced local officials to take her to the court of Charles VII. Despite her young age and lack of military training, Joan had an air of authority that caught the attention of those in power. In 1429, Joan finally met Charles VII. Skeptical, he tested her by disguising himself in court. Joan, however, recognized him immediately. Convinced by her visions, Charles granted her command of an army. She wore men's clothing and armor, ready to fulfill her divine mission. With Joan at the helm, the tide of war began to change. One of her greatest victories came at the Siege of Orléans. For months, the English had surrounded the city, but under Joan's leadership, the French army broke through. The victory was a turning point in the war. Joan's victories were not just military, they were symbolic. She represented hope in a time of despair, and her success reinvigorated the French people. Soon after, Charles VII was crowned king in the city of Reims, just as Joan had predicted. However, Joan's triumphs would not last. In 1430, she was captured by the Burgundians, allies of the English. Charles VII, now secure in his throne, made no effort to rescue her. Joan was handed over to the English and put on trial for heresy. The charges against her ranged from witchcraft to wearing men's clothing. The trial was highly political. The English wanted to discredit her as a sorceress, not a saint. Whatever I have done, I did at the command of God. My faith has guided me, and I fear not your judgment. In 1431, at the age of 19, Joan was condemned to death. On May 30th, she was burned at the stake in Rouen. Her final words were a prayer to God. Her death, however, did not mark the end of her influence. Within 25 years, Joan's trial was overturned, and she was declared innocent. Centuries later, in 1920, the Catholic Church canonized her as a saint. Joan of Arc's story is one of unwavering faith and courage in the face of insurmountable odds. She began as a simple peasant girl, but transformed into a symbol of French unity and resistance. Today, Joan of Arc remains one of the most revered figures in history, her life a testament to what can be achieved through belief and perseverance. Her legend endures, inspiring generations to this day. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to join me on the next one.